Welcome back, guys. We are not live. This is a pre-recorded show, and we're going to talk to you about some things in the Second Amendment and what's going on in the state of Georgia and around the nation. See you when we get back. All right, before we do all that, we're going to thank our lovely sponsors and who gives all this beautiful stuff to you guys so you guys can have a show like this and enjoy our content. Go to saberteamtactical.com. Then from there, just go to classes.
Yep.
Take it away, Al.
Click any
Talk
of the
about that
buttons.
class you had on Friday, too, man. I mean,
Yeah,
not
it was-
Friday, but some of the past classes.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
We're working on pretty much like a club, the Saber Team Club, and basically what we get together and we're gonna work on individual skill sets as well as an overall theme. So right now we're working on concealed carry and rifles, which is kind of like 180 degrees away from each other, but at the same time, it's what people want. It's the guys that are involved right now. That's what they want to focus on. So I'm gearing all the content and all the instruction towards that. We do drills. We talk about it, the reason and the rationale behind it. A lot of people think that they can walk around with one magazine. And I induce some malfunctions and bend up some magazines, and then you try to work through that. You need another magazine. You can't. There's nothing enough time to straighten out a magazine and try to figure out what's going on. So you got to ditch that magazine and go to the next one. Just the thoughts of what would happen if, that kind of deal. Use of your we can, quote unquote. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but nonetheless, one way of saying it, offhand, whichever way you like to hear it, that's what we do. We're working on strengthening the entire fundamental repertoire.
Okay. So we got some classes. We got that's something you guys got. You guys are interested in that? Please come on over and be a part of the Saber Team. What do you call it? Club.
Saber Team Club.
The Saber Team Club. Get
Right,
a little.
you run the Saber Team.
And let that tiger bite you. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? And we got the private classes out here, and private. This is private classes. If you guys get into the Saber Team Club, and if you want additional private training, you have a group of people that want to come out and do additional private training. That's not necessarily what's going on with the club.
Yep.
You can get with Al, and he'll set something up for you with this. And the same thing for any of the pending classes, dates.
Any of the topics, any title that we have, from shotgun to concealed carry, rifle, anything that you were interested in, you see it here, and even if it's not here, we'll do a class for you if you want to learn how to clean your firearms. If you want to, we'll show up and do a detail as well as field stripping of your firearms. We have that type of knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And I got something coming up here in July, rifle PCC class. And if you guys are interested, it's on July 2nd. And this rifle PCC class is the nuts and bolts on how to get a rifle. And from a 22 all the way to a 308 if you want to hump that baby. And it's going to show you the basics. This is a beginner's course. So if you guys want to get involved in this, if you're beginner, intermediate, you want to learn some new skills, because I teach some secrets, I'll teach some secrets, and we have, we will give this to any of the students. Now, there's no set class size for this. So if you guys want to come out and get some banging going on, come on out. I'll be out there on July 2nd. Regardless, even if you guys don't even show up, I'm gonna be running some 22 drills with myself, and and doing some training with some RMR. But if you come out there and that class is not going on, don't expect me or Al to train you if we're out there, because you didn't pay for a class. And so if you come out to this shoot, we'll have to charge you a fee for the range. Then you can just come out and shoot. However, That's only if the class is not existing. But we'll find out more of that date once this class gets closer to the date. Um, August, we got a concealed carry, stop the bleed class. Basically, what it is, you'll learn how to conceal carry and do triage on yourself or a buddy, and not the person that you shot. You never do. As a civilian, you're not required to do that. You're required to take care of other people who are in danger and yourself. The person who's out there doing the damage, and that'd be the last person I would treat. That's my
That
personal
leave that
opinion.
for law enforcement and
Yeah,
first
yeah,
responders.
first responders. Yeah, and we have another stop the bleed class when it gets a little cooler in October. This time we're going to be going with heavy rifles and tactical gear. So if you're taking the rifle PCC class, and when this class comes up in October, you can take this class too. And this class is you can work in conjunction with that one, and you'll learn how to um, uh, do triage and stuff with heavy gear on. If you notice how the classes are set, the concealed carry class comes in first, and then you have the rifle PCC class comes in first, and you have the concealed carry. Then you have to stop the bleed. Then we go to the rifle and tactical gear. This is where we put all three of those classes together into one. So now you learn how to deal with the pistol, you learn how to deal with your rifle, then you learn how to do medical, just in case something go wrong. But we're not going to be doing medical at the rifle tactical gear class because that class is strictly designed for movement and working as a team and fighting as an individual, as a two-person team or a six-person team. Women and men can come to this class, but if you do come to this class, be prepared to work because it is a intermediate to advanced class. No beginners are allowed. And so if you bought some Amazon gear, you want to test it, this is the place to do it. If it breaks, I got plenty of gear in my car to replace it. Well, you can't have it. You can use it for the class. And this class was developed when I was on active duty, and over 9,000 students have learned this course. And a lot of stuff has been practical use, was really been used. I used a lot of this stuff in real life, and the only thing I don't teach you guys is the explosives part. So, um, and it's a lot of other details I don't teach. So, but you guys will learn a lot from this class. You really want to come out and play. And from that, we have the laser engraving side. You can watch that little video there on patches. What I do, wooden plaques, dog tags, do your magazines. If you guys want your magazines done up with some Joe Biden stuff on there, we can we can figure out a design and do that too. If you guys are Joe Biden lovers,
Mm.
we got some Marine Corps patches, leather patches. They got Velcro backs on them, so and they're sealed. Earrings for the ladies or novelty designs. I got stuff like that. I also do things on glass. If you got any questions, shoot me your name, email, phone number, and subject in a short message, and hit "I'm not a robot" and hit submit, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Now, let's get into the meat of the show. So, basically, you guys do realize the 120 days had just happened for the brace. I'm talking about the brace, ATF and the brace. ATF sucks. So, um, now we got the brace going on, and then they find out that there's actually 0.06% people who complied with actually
Mm.
registering their brace. Isn't that funny? You
Yeah,
know
I
what I'm
know a
saying?
few of them though.
Oh, you
I
know a
see
few?
them. Yeah, I don't know them personally, but I see them on Facebook saying that they
They
just go ahead
registered.
and comply basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Idiots. You know what I'm saying? Complete idiots. We just had a lawsuit that just happened with FDC, GOA, and some other entities. So what has happened was the federal judge has stated that all the plaintiffs in that case, if they're members or bought something from this company, these companies, you are um what's that? You have
Exempt.
amnesty. Huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, you
Exempt
have
or
amnesty.
amnesty.
Yeah, you have amnesty. But that's a to me that's another what do you want to call it? A it's a gray area
Hmm.
because are these cops getting briefed on what's happening with the lawsuits and stuff? What if you get one of these cops, man, who's truly anti-gun, and they're in a small town or whatever like that, and you going out with you're a member of FDC or GOA, and you're on the range and you're shooting, and somebody decided to call the cops on you, Karen. You know what I'm saying? It could be a male Karen too, and they call the cops on you and say, "Hey, this guy's out here with an illegal gun." So now that police officer is going to come out there, and the first thing they're going to do is draw down on you and tell you to drop your weapon, and they're going to probably put you in handcuffs, and you're going to be irritated. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to want to argue the point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This
you
thing can
can't argue the point in the street. The
this thing
street's
can
no
go
place for that.
bad. You know
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
can.
saying? Real
Hmm.
quick. And so you I can't even assess the scenario how that's going to happen because each person's emotion is a lot different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you're
Yeah,
going to
and a
feel
lot of people are not used to dealing with police officers in that manner.
mm-hmm.
You know, they're always from on the backside of the police. They're watching as witnesses or just citizens watching what's happening, but not the actual subject of
Mm,
the police investigation. And now, how do these people respond?
yeah. How did they
You know, and that
respond?
I don't know because I'm again with you. You know, first off, I don't put myself in positions where I leave myself open to that, and I know that's kind of vague, but at the same time, I do pay attention to my surroundings at all times, and I pay attention to what may or may not what it may look like to someone else, and that's just the way I live. A lot of people don't do that, and they just go willy nilly because it's nothing illegal. I'm not doing anything illegal. At least in their mind, they're not. But in actuality, with all these convoluted interpretations of the Brace ruling, you don't know what's illegal anymore.
Mm-mm. And see, this is it's not a misdemeanor. They're classifying it as a felony.
Right.
So the police is going to act as a felony.
Hmm.
Stop when they deal with you. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
federal too.
Yeah, and that's federal. So they're going to draw down on you,
I
and
mean,
be
there's a potential that the officers draw down, but I mean, if you're at a firearms range, or you're at a,
they won't do it at a range.
you should, I mean, you have to use common sense. There's
Yeah,
guns at a firearms range. You know,
yeah.
if you see somebody and they have a gun, it's okay if you say, "Hey, keep your hands away from the gun. I need to talk to you." You know, to
Mm-hmm.
draw down on a person. But again, there may be a few of them that are overexcited, overzealous type police officers that show up and hands up. Oh, let me see with your hands. Get on the ground or whatever the hell they're gonna do. And now you make a big scene out of something that should have just been easily discreetly handled.
Right. And a lot of people are going to be saying, "Hey, I'm legally,
Right.
on this because it's been covered by the lawsuit." And they're going to be like, "What lawsuit? I don't have no idea what's
Right.
happening with a lawsuit."
Because
And
those
so,
those minute updates like that, most officers not paying attention to that. They have other
mm-mm.
things to deal with.
Right.
You know, one of the things that we always talk about when we talk about first responders and first responder and active shooter and an involved citizen is the host of the firearm. I've seen just recently numerous, at least three instructors telling people to talk to the officers while
What?
holding the firearm. Yeah, man. I was like,
What?
wow, I see you gonna get somebody killed, bro. That one guy
Oh,
that I sent you, I think you sent it to me first. The one where they were jumping on him because he threw his AK down and
yeah.
he drew it. He's saying, "Let the police know as they're coming in." How would you know?
They
You
don't know
don't.
who's good or who's bad.
They don't know who's good and who's bad. And on top of that, he doesn't understand the condition that your brain may be in when this auditory block is going on because you got a dangerous person in front of you and the rest of the world doesn't matter. And
Mm-hmm.
then while you're standing there with your gun drawn and aimed at this guy, now you look like the bad guy.
And that's all.
If you haven't called into the dispatch or the local sheriff's department or whoever is responding to say, "Hey, I'm the guy with the black shirt and the
You
white
got to
hat,"
describe yourself.
right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, nobody knows if there were there multiple shooters, and that's the first thing that will come to the mind of a prudent person. Well, hell, this must be a secondary shooter.
And yeah, and remember the new rule now: police departments don't have to announce themselves when they
They
come
don't.
up on the scene.
They
They
don't.
just start
And
shooting.
when you look at it, that's more geared toward evening the odds for officers to respond, to not have to say, "Hey, I'm police," and then turn around and the guy gets the opportunity to get him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's across the nation because there's some jurisdictions where officers have to announce themselves when they, knock on a door or whatever the hell the situation may be. They have to acknowledge it. Some other jurisdictions, they can't shoot until they're under the threat. So if a person is reaching for a gun and they have their back to them, the officer is technically has to wait until the guy or girl turns around with a gun and they see it. Now that's imminent danger. Are you kidding me? And there are still agencies and jurisdictions out there that require that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a lot
Hmm.
that's gonna go down. So far, nobody's been caught. You know what I'm saying? Um, but they are still pushing the anti-gun issue. For instance, that guy in New York City,
Hmm.
um, Queens, New York. He uh, he had a guy who's an ex-con, and this guy carried a concealed carry revolver.
Oh yeah.
A- and he didn't want to shoot the guy, and he did everything he could to not shoot the guy. Even the superintendent at the apartment complex even said he did everything he could, and the guy lunged had some in his hands and lunged at him with a ink pen in his hand. And the ink pen is a deadly weapon if it's
But
used
they
right.
didn't know about that until the end.
Right, right.
Hmm.
And so, um, then they arrested. They didn't charge him for. Well, he emptied 6 rounds into the guy and killed him. And the guy wasn't even afraid of the gun when he pulled it out at
Right.
all,
Hmm.
and didn't back down.
Yeah, they were
And
within 7 yards of each other too.
deadly scenario. And the guy just he laid him out, but somehow or another they ended up getting into this guy's house, finding out he had an AK, AR. I think it was another uh, gun. It was like 3 guns,
Hmm.
get body armor, some ammunition.
Arsenal.
Yeah, and they called it an arsenal. You know what I'm saying? And now the judge saw all that and raised his bail to 50K,
Hmm.
saying he's a danger to everybody. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
He saved his
And
own life, but he's a danger.
right, he's a danger, but they're not charging him with killing the guy.
Nope.
They
That's
charging him,
justified.
yeah, they charging him with illegal firearms in the state of New York City and
Well,
body
in New York
armor.
City, not the state.
I mean, this well, this was this yeah Queens, so it's a
Hmm.
city.
It's
Yeah,
part
they
of
started
New
with
York City.
illegal firearms in the city.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the body armor because you can't have body armor in New York. I mean, it's totally trampled his rights, and he's in jail. You know,
Hmm.
they're not releasing him. You know, and so my question is, how did they go from a shooting to inside his house?
Well, part of it depending on uh, where he was. I think it was in front of his house.
It was outside.
It was outside, right, in like an
Yeah, it was
apartment or
outside.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a thing called search incident to arrest, and you're able to search certain areas. I don't know how that would stretch to an apartment in the air, some feet up, but maybe some creative writing would allow you to get into that house with like he had to get his ID and they said okay and they followed him to the house to get ID and then all of a sudden you never let police in your house if you don't have to. If they have a search
Mm-hmm.
warrant, you got no choices. But if they don't have a search warrant, you can say no. That's
Right.
my because anything an officer sees, you may say, "Oh, I don't have anything illegal," and then somebody left something in your house. That's yours now. You're responsible for that.
Yeah, I still don't see it. There's no way that they go from a shooting on the street to his house
Yeah,
unless he
th-
said something.
there's certain things that if he said yes to them, we don't know all the details. But if he said, "Yeah, you guys can come in," and they
But
came in,
his
and
wife was there. She could have said no.
nope, he has
No.
to. If he says yes, then it's yes. Even if she says no, she got half the
Mm.
house. He has half the house. So technically, the police or the government is allowed to come in on his half.
You think he was probably blabbing his mouth right after the shooting?
I don't know, man. I mean, this is New York, bro. Anything
Yeah,
could have happened.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
You
He
know,
probably wish it. Whatever it was, he probably wish he kept his mouth
I
shut.
bet he did, and bet he
Yeah,
told him no.
yeah. I hope he told him no, and they illegally searched his house. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, and found all that stuff. Then he can, you know, probably get out of it. But if he told him yes, he had some more guns in his house, and they went
Yep.
in there and found all that stuff. He's through.
The same
He's gone.
thing we're talking about with people misinterpreting. Maybe he thought that new ruling that happened a few months ago allowed him to have guns, and it's legal. You know
Yeah.
that it was a gun club versus New York something. Berwyn Gun Club versus New York changed a whole lot. I mean, it was national.
Mm. Yeah, and he's just one of many in New York City that has the same thing going on, and they're not going to get in trouble until they get into an incident. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Oh yeah.
And they're going to get screwed. Yeah, yeah. So people, you got to know the law and you got to keep up with the law. You just can't be ignorant, claim ignorance of the law when the law comes down against you. It
It
doesn't
won't
work.
help. Nope. Nobody wants to hear that.
Nope, does not work.
You
And
have
they're gonna.
ample time to get up on it. Pay attention to details. It's not hard. It may not be fun, but it's not hard to do. All you have to do is get on the internet and do some Google searches. And if you don't do that, you can reach out to people. You can ask people. People like us. You want information, we'll let you know. We'll tell you where to
Hmm.
look for it. All of that.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that was a. I think, and also the body armor is a felony too in New York State, in New York City. And if you own body armor, you can be charged with a felony. So he's looking at probably about 25 years with
Hopefully
all
you
the.
get a good lawyer.
Well, I know on Twitter, FDC reached out to him and said somebody get a message to his lawyer, and so they're going to step in and try to help him. So since they won that several court cases in New York
Hmm.
with Second Amendment laws, I guess they figure they have a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And because most of his stuff should have been grandfathered, because they didn't
Hmm.
give anybody any amnesty to turn the stuff in or register it or whatever. So
Hmm.
it's like a catch 22 they're doing. If you got it, they didn't say anything about it. And so people are left in limbo with the stuff that they have. So they may be able to get him out of it. It's going to cost though. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Well, the good thing is he doesn't have to face a murder charge.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
That's the
Yeah,
good
but
thing.
but he's looking at those gun charges, 3 gun charges, the ammunition charge, and then you're looking at the body armor charge. That's about 4 or 5 charges right there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, and
So
knowing them, they can make it stretch to 20. There's other little nuance charges that we don't know about that at one time, I don't know if it's real or street, but New York was charging per bullet in your gun.
what?
Yeah, it was like 3 years per bullet.
Come on,
If you
man.
had a loaded magazine at 10 rounds, that was 30 years. It's like, damn.
Did they actually charge people with that?
I don't know, bro. This is legend, street
Oh
law.
my
I
god!
don't know. I know that there was a charge for a loaded gun versus an unloaded gun.
Right.
There's the gun itself, and then if the gun is loaded, you get another charge. That is factual. I've seen that one. But in
Mm.
reference to these, each bullet, I don't know. But there's plenty of weird, what we would consider weird laws because it's like a gun with a magazine. in the a loaded magazine in the gun, but nothing in the chamber. Is that loaded or unloaded? We say I say unloaded.
With nothing in the chamber,
Nothing in the chamber. It's not a loaded gun.
I say it's loaded. If you got a magazine in, it's loaded. To me, that's the way I was always trained.
But nothing in the chamber.
Yeah, even if nothing's in the chamber, it's still
See, and
loaded.
that in
Yeah.
the court, in certain states, in the court, if there's nothing in the chamber, the gun is empty, even if it's
Mm,
loaded in the magazine, and then
okay.
vice versa. And then you got certain states that recognize that as a loaded gun because it's capable of being loaded.
Hmm.
Then there's
Yeah. That.
also the constructed part where if you have a magazine close by in close proximity to the firearm, they consider that constructive loading because it doesn't take but a few seconds for you to put the magazine in chamber one and get the gun ready to go. So there's a
Um,
lot of things like, especially like places like New Jersey, Maryland, even. There's certain places like that where if you go through them, you're driving through, you got to know about these little nuances. Maryland
mhm.
requires that you have 10 rounds in the magazine, and you can't have a 15-round magazine. You have to have a 10-round magazine. That's it. So if you have
Okay.
10 rounds in a 15-round magazine, you're illegal.
And if you have 10 rounds, then you put one in the chamber and put one back in the magazine. That's
You're good.
11.
You're
Oh, you
good.
still good?
You're good. Yeah, you're good if you have a 10-round magazine and one in the chamber for 11, but you can't have a 15-round magazine with 10 rounds in it.
Right, because the magazine is deadly.
But yet you got all these. Listen, this is the crazy
Intent.
part.
Intent.
Yet you have all these criminals who are doing crimes in Maryland that have extended magazines with 30
Extendos.
rounds, and ain't
Yeah.
nobody paying attention to that 10-round rule because that's what criminals do.
Right. Yeah.
See, but all the law-abiding citizens who decide they're going to vacation or travel through Maryland make sure they have a 10-round magazine and doing all this extra stuff to make sure that they're legal. Criminals don't give a damn.
Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna pull an extendo with they're
A
gonna have
drum.
yeah, they have a drum, plus they're gonna have what's that switch? They have a
The
switch in their
switch.
Glock, and so they're gonna be machine gunning you down.
And you know the
And you
funny
got
thing about it, the switch has been around. I think the first time I saw a switch was somewhere in that late '90s.
yes.
Nobody paid attention to that damn thing. Nobody
Right.
wanted it. Then you get a new crop of individuals
Thugs.
come along, these youngsters, and they think it's the greatest thing in the world. It's uncontrollable. As
Right.
soon as you pull the trigger, the entire magazine. I don't give a damn if it's a drum or if it's a stick. It's everything goes at one time.
You're shooting in the air like
Right.
this.
Exactly. And you're shooting the wrong. Bullets going
Right.
everywhere. Nowhere.
Everybody, yeah. Everybody's gonna get hit but the target. Yeah.
And I've seen some people who have large followings playing with these things on online and doing that. And it's like, okay, you just fired 15, 20, 30 rounds at one time into nothing. Just
Yeah. But
letting it go.
how many of these
And
guys are doing it legally though?
I don't know. I
Because you
don't know,
gotta
but
have a
that thing is not legal.
no, it's not. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. If you doing videos with a switch, it is not legal.
Right.
Not unless you got a class 3 license.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's the
Right.
only way you can do it.
Now,
And
I see videos with people at our range out there right here in Georgia, and they're shooting. I don't know if it's full auto Glocks or will have a switch on it. And I'm like, first off, that range doesn't allow full
full
automatic.
auto at all.
And no, unless you've specified with them and they've given you the go ahead, because that means that you have instructors and people out there that are capable of paying attention to what's going on. Rounds leave the berm with semi-automatic, because you
Right.
imagine what the hell's going to happen. The gun lifts up as you fire it,
And you're gonna
regardless
have
if it's
like
a
12
carbine.
rounds that's going all over the place, and you
Yep.
gotta track every single bullet.
And I'm watching them, man. And most of these people, they want full auto, but they don't know how to don't know how to control full auto.
Right.
They don't.
Yeah.
You see them. You see somebody standing straight up like this. The gun starts here, and next thing you know, it's here. That's over the berm.
Right. And they never say anything. Yeah. Idiots.
The same thing with the people who decide that they're going to lay on the floor and shoot up at a target. Where do you think that round's going? The round is leaving the range.
Right. Right. Yeah, I never understood that. If you're on your feet, why you getting on the floor to shoot?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the trying to shoot from a seated position or you get knocked down and
If you
things
start
happen.
if you start in that position. You know what I'm saying? Let's say um, if I'm hunkered down in the house and I got a little cubby hole that I'm shooting out of, yeah, I'm starting in that position, and I shoot out of that. But if I'm on my feet, I'm going to stay on my feet, you
You
know?
hope you stay on your feet.
Yeah,
I know good cops, and it's my experience. Good cops that know how to fight, that can handle themselves, that wind up on their ass and had to shoot from the floor.
right,
So it's a legitimate position to be in just in case something happens. What
right.
I'm saying is in training, like this berm picture right behind me, if
Hmm.
you're laying down on the ground and you're shooting up, your angle is not the same as if you're standing. So
Right.
now
You're going to be
it's
shooting over the
easier
berm,
for you to shoot over and out the range than it is if you're standing up. That
especially
in
if
this
you're
particular one right here, in this picture right behind me, that berm is set up. Look at the targets. It's only about maybe 2 feet higher than the targets.
right.
Once you lay down, that berm now goes below. You follow
Um,
me? The angle now goes lower.
yeah,
And
not
I've seen videos of guys. I didn't see it personally, but I saw videos of guys out there, people that we know that are shooting
shooting
on
over
the
the berm.
ground, and it's like, bro, every round that you just fired went over the berm.
And that's why when you do prone work, you got to lower the targets.
You gotta lower the
Everybody
targets.
knows this. You got to lower the
No, no,
targets.
they don't. You said everybody. Nope,
No, they don't.
nope.
Mm.
Hey, bro, I've been out there with a guy that's he used to be a deputy, I guess. He used to be a deputy, and he wanted to shoot. You could tell he was the new jack in the group, and he wanted to shoot like if he had been pushed down on his back. So he's shooting between his
Mm.
legs,
Okay.
and the guy who brought him out there said to him, "Pay attention to your muzzle." Right? Because we don't
Hmm.
want to startle anybody. So we tell you what your mistake is. Instead of saying, well, you're about to shoot yourself, pay attention to your muzzle. The dude looks down. He's got the muzzle
Right next to
pointed
his kneecap.
right next to him, right, yeah, on the outside of his kneecap.
Hmm.
And it's like, I said, no, 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 no. Don't pay attention to your muzzle. Go ahead and holster and get up. Holster the gun and get up. I like, no. Mm-mm. Because for one, he was literally 50 yards from the berm doing
Mm.
this. Why? Why? And he went off on his own. Like, there's four dudes here that know what they're doing, and then you, New Jack, you want to do no, no, no. I just called ceased. No, no, no. And he had a little attitude, and I think it stuck for. This was almost 7 years ago. I think it stuck even as he got a little bit better in his shooting abilities. I still treated him like he was a rookie because I remember, dude, you don't have no sense. You don't have common sense. Common sense would tell me that if you are on the ground and it's your first time doing this, that you pay extra, extra attention to that muzzle. Because
Hmm.
everybody always say keep your finger off the trigger, but if you point that muzzle in a safe direction all the time, you'll be all right,
Hmm. Yeah.
regardless of where your finger is. Because
Hmm.
I came along the department, 1986. They weren't taking your finger off the trigger. And we have training videos that I watched. I think I sent it to you guys one time. They're training videos that talk about putting your finger on the trigger to get that advantage. This is like 1983, 1984, where when you come out the holster, that hook went right on there.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of accident shootings usually happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was
Yeah.
a different
That was
time.
police. Well, that was police policy for a long time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you also had officers using revolvers against guys with semi-automatics, and they were trying
Hmm.
to find a way to get faster.
Yeah.
They were trying to
Yeah.
find a way to even it out, and that was one of those deals. And
Until
it was
Florida
crazy.
happened.
I remember switching departments in 1989, and when I got to the next department, these guys were still doing finger on the trigger, and then I was like, with Beretta 92 FS.
Oh, no, 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 no,
And I
no,
was like,
no.
whoa. But
Yeah.
the lead instructor said, when you come out, get on that trigger. And I'm like,
Wow.
did I hear that right? Like,
And the
okay.
only thing you need is one shot to go off, and that person who's that subject is gonna get lit up. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
this back then we had a high hit ratio. If the national average was 20%
Hmm.
hit ratio, this agency had 40. maybe
Oh my
45.
God.
You
45
you
hit
F
list.
around in PG County, you got blitzed.
Hmm. Wow. That's so funny. I don't know why my thing is running off of battery, you know? But yeah, that's funny.
But
Um,
that's the same thing as we were talking about, with police responding, and including with these braces in the future. We
yeah.
don't know what to expect. We
No,
don't know what
we
to
haven't
expect.
seen the first one yet. And when we do, the first one might not be so pretty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So um, we don't know how it's going to take place, how it's going to act, if it's going to be a black person or a white person. You know what I'm saying? What is going to be the attitude of people? Because I still see guys on Instagram taking pictures and videos with their braces, and like they don't even give a damn.
No,
They sit up
I
there
don't think.
making.
I think a lot of people don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of folks that just are uneducated in when it comes to the status of the brace right now. They know
Hmm.
something's up. They don't know it. They heard it was legal. Now it's illegal.
Right.
They heard all of
Yeah.
that.
Right. Yeah.
And they want to believe that it's legal, so they just mind over matter. If I believe it's legal, then it's legal.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, and then we got guys like this guy here in Duluth, Georgia, gun
Oh,
store owner. He says enough is enough. He closed his store down. Now his reason he gets on the news, he's in he gets on the news and say he's closing his got on the news and said this. He's closing his store down for good because he's tired of kids ending up victims of gun violence. So he's closing his doors. No gun came from his shop, not one, you know? And it was no real reason for him to even say that. This guy is really not a Second Amendment a supporter.
nope.
He's just in the business to be in the business. I mean, uh, I guess he thought he was going to get into it and make it rich.
Hmm.
But from
His
what
prices
we,
were outrageous,
yeah,
is
and I
what
was
I
about to
found
say
out.
that his prices was more expensive than what was the name of that place?
Uh,
Uh,
Bass Pro
uh,
Shop,
Bass Pro Shop,
Adventures Outdoor, all
and
of those.
he
He was higher than them. He was still selling 50 rounds of ammunition for 9 millimeter at $35 a box for
hmm
practice ammo.
and he had low end stuff. He didn't even have high end stuff, and he was
Right,
selling it high.
right.
You know, it's like, dude,
I,
what are you doing?
and for based upon the comments and then doing a little research that I did, it seems as though he was about to go bankrupt, and this was a
Hmm.
good way to go out with some nobility, or at least that's what he thought. And he basically sold out because he was. They said he was a nice guy, and that he seemed, like he was a 2A proponent, but everyone agrees he wasn't. He
And
wasn't
that's
for the 2A.
and that's and by him getting on the news, I guess he thought he was trying to make a big mass sale
Yep.
by
No,
saying that.
no, he did a liquidation sale. He's selling it to another company.
Oh,
He's
he
selling
is.
out. Yeah, he's not even doing that piecemeal firehouse sale. Like, everything must go. He didn't do that. He's just selling it to his. I think his thing was, since we, quote unquote, the community in the Second Amendment didn't support him, he's turned his back and saying that he's not going to sell any more guns because of children dying. But yet, you're not selling guns to children. You shouldn't be selling guns to children in the first place, right?
Right.
You're a legitimate FFL. What what happened? How does this happen that you stop selling guns is going to affect children from being killed and using guns erroneously?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You can't shoot. You can't sell to an 18-year-old. So you damn sure can't sell to an 8-year-old.
Hmm. His
So
name.
he's just grandstanding because this may have made him feel good.
Right. It did. So this he's obviously an anti gun guy.
Oh yeah,
You know.
and
Yeah.
it shows at the end.
Right.
It
He
shows.
he he'll be the first one to turn you into the ATF.
Hmm.
I'm saying
Yeah,
he'll be the first one and think
I'm
nothing
sure
of it.
any brace that he has that he sold, It was on a list now, and he's turning all that information
Oh,
in.
he don't. Yeah, he done dropped a dime. He gave me your address, your video, your social security number, everything. He done he done turned all that information. If you bought anything from that cat, and you screwed because he's turning you in. You know what I'm saying? So he think nothing of it. And but yeah, I wish I'd known about his store earlier, and I would have bad bashed his store.
I
This
think his
guy.
name is in that article.
Yeah, it is Tyler Lee. That's his name. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, store owner Joan Waldman, and that's the store owner. But they don't
Dang.
even get the store's name.
Yeah, there's some Georgia Precision.
Oh yeah,
It's like in
yeah.
the third
Nobody even heard
sentence.
of the place. You know
It's
what I'm
on
saying?
Peachtree Industrial
Okay. Yeah, I
in Swanson.
remind. I'll never go there, even
It's
with the new.
closed, bro.
It's
Literally,
closed.
I went to Google to look up because I was going past there, and I said,
Hmm.
well, let me see what this place looks like, and it said permanently closed.
Right. I mean, he's in. It's ridiculous, man. He
Yeah.
probably voted for Stacey Abrams. I
Hmm.
guarantee he did. You
Hmm.
know, and worn out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. But see, this is the
Yeah.
kind of deal that we have to deal with because people who don't know really don't know. I saw some in the comments. People who don't know think that that's a noble person. He's
Hmm.
doing something. There's one guy that goes in the comments and he actually says that America can take from his lead,
Oh
and that
Jesus.
we can confiscate guns just like the other superpowers have done, and
Mm.
be a safer country. Then this fool has the nerve to say, let's go back to using our fist if we have a disagreement with somebody, or we feel threatened.
That's a person who is not watching Instagram.
Not only that, but how do you defend that comment to grandmothers, grandfathers, hell,
Right.
old people who just are not ready to fight a 25-year-old or 18-year-old boy?
Right. Or
How do we
or a
defend
gang
that?
or a gang.
And even worse, that's one of the things that I saw the other day, and I mentioned to somebody. Is this the reason why we need standard capacity magazines? Because there was three against one, and the
Hmm.
three showed up with guns, and this guy had one. He has no. I'm sorry, it's three people total.
Hmm.
Two of them, they all get out the same car. So apparently, this dude got conned into letting these criminals in his car.
Mm.
Somewhere in the middle of it, they get out, and they're fleecing his pockets. One guy has a gun on him. He complies. Guy gives him his keys. They take his
They shot
wallet,
him anyway.
and they blasted him 2 times in the chest as they walked
Jeez.
away.
Wow.
Drove away in his car, should I say?
Mm. Just
And,
for
and
GP.
in the comments, people say this is what happens when you comply. And one of the things is you got to fight early. And we say this a
Yes,
lot.
you gotta fight
You
early.
There's no
Yeah.
negotiations.
Right.
Once somebody has threatened you, even if it's verbal, you got to
Hmm.
decimate that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You can't be, oh, well, what do you mean by that?
Right.
I don't understand. So you
So
mean to
he.
tell me you're angry right now? I don't give a
So
fuck.
was the guy an Uber driver?
Nah, man. This was like it was. It didn't look like an Uber. It looked like he was. Mind you, this piece didn't have a backstory, but these
Oh,
all
okay.
three of them get out the car at the same time.
Mm.
So unless they jumped in front of the car, which I mean, he's a fool for stopping because you jump in front of my
Keep it.
car,
And why you got your doors open unlocked?
I missed the brake. I
Yeah.
hit the accelerator.
I mean, don't stop. But a lot of people won't do that though. Somebody jump in front of their car, they'll be on the hood, jumping on the roof, and they just be sitting there.
I saw
You
that
know
in
what
New
I'm saying?
York a few
Yeah.
years ago now, and the guy was in a Land Rover with his family,
Oh
and
yeah.
these dudes
I
they
remember
were
that.
he tolerated that for a
The
long
the
time.
motorcycle gang.
Yeah, that one,
Yeah. Yeah.
man. Mm-mm-mm.
There's no way I would have tolerated that with my family in the car. I would have lit them up from the beginning.
Not only
You know?
lit them up, there would have been some unicycles made out of them
Yeah.
fuckers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Then they
Mm.
got mad at him for running them over.
Yeah, one of the guys got run over after like 30 minutes of this crap.
But they
One guy gets
reached
run
in,
over,
the window was reaching at his wife.
and the
Yeah.
dude isn't that didn't one get snatched up or something because one turned out to be a cop.
Yes, one was a cop. He
Wasn't
was
it a
doing
NYPD?
yeah, one was a
And he
cop.
he chased the guy down because the guy like ran somebody over and then like a hit and run basically. But it
So
wasn't a hit and run because they threatened him
they
first.
threatened him first. They
But the
attacked.
cop
They
guy was
broke
saying
his
he saw a hit and run, and it was like, well, what about the 30 minutes of video that we have
right,
prior to this?
right. You
And that I
reaching in
think
the
that cop
car.
got fired. They fired
Yeah,
him.
he needed to be fired.
Hmm.
Yeah, that man. Yeah. Oh my God,
Yep.
New York, man,
Never.
nightmare. Escape from New
Mm-mm.
York. Remember that
It-
movie? It's
yep.
real.
That's me. That
Yeah,
was me.
yeah.
I escaped.
Oh my God, I couldn't do it. New York,
No, man.
California, uh, some
Same
of the other
place.
places. Yeah, they're the same place.
Pretty
Yeah.
much same mentality.
hmm Oh, Hawaii is another one.
Yep.
Hawaii just signed in the law. Um, they cannot carry concealed on the public streets or the sidewalks or any private facility unless they get permission by the owner. So, yeah, it goes in effect July 1st.
Isn't sidewalk public access?
Yes, it is.
So how do I
Yes,
get
it is.
permission over public or something that's public domain?
Can't carry concealed now, you know, and it's coming, you know. So,
And I would imagine a bunch of liberals have taken over that island.
oh, that island's destroyed. It's always been liberals on that island. It's never been a red state, and but it's just the guy is there. He's a the governor is a hardcore. He's a white dude. He's not
Mm.
even actually a native, and he's just gone full ballistic. And the conservatives there they have are all rhinos, so they pretend to be Democrats. I mean Republicans, but they work with the Democrats, and they have a NRA Second Amendment group there who's also working with the Democrats. So it is a mess out there in Hawaii. You know,
Sounds like it.
yeah, it's one place I wouldn't even go to visit. I've been there, and I'm not going back. You know, so it's no purpose for me to go there. You know, I'll go to an island somewhere else. You know, what I'm saying?
Right. I'd rather go to an island that's not part of the United States. And
Right,
that way, when I see all the craziness that's going on, it doesn't bother me.
right, because you know that's the way it is here.
Right.
Yeah,
That's just the way they are.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's actually stupid. Um, but that's what's happening, and I don't know, guys. I do want to say, you guys are watching this on YouTube and Rumble. Please on YouTube, like and subscribe, and Rumble, please go to the search bar, put in the Two Alphas Talk. We have our own channel now on Rumble, and subscribe on the channel so we can build those numbers up and share the show. You know what I'm saying? We got a crawl down at the bottom. It says Saber Team Tactical. Please like the show on YouTube and subscribe on Rumble. You know, help us out, help us get our numbers up, and we really had an excellent time getting our numbers up. YouTube has been uh, holding us back. Don't look like they're holding us back anymore for some unknown reason. And
Hmm.
but Rumble is really
They
the
see
people
we're
on
not
Rumble,
going away.
huh?
They see we're not
Yeah,
going
see, we're
away.
not going away. We'll continue to fight, and we're gonna fight
Two
and
hard
keep
heads.
throwing everything we had hard hits. We're gonna throw everything we can at them. You know what I'm saying, and not give up. You know, we don't have a choice. You know, at this point. But we got some good stuff coming up here in the future. So just hang tight, and you
Got a
guys will
couple
see what's
guests
getting
coming
to
up.
happen. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff coming up, and we need to talk about some stuff in the background too. I like the like I said, Al has the Saber Team Club. So if you guys want to get a taste of the saber tooth tigers biting you in the back, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? You need to get up there and take part of that. And
Yep.
I'll probably
And
be coming
it's
out.
dedicated training.
Yeah,
Dedicated training where you not just all live fire. We do. I go over dry firing. It's all the stuff that I used to do, and guys that I worked with that were went on to win championships. I left early. I had
Yeah, life.
extended family at the time,
Yeah,
and
life.
yeah,
Yeah.
and these guys, have went and won state and local and national championships. So it's this type of training that you need to do
Hmm.
every day. Not as this is not like a fly by night. Oh, just show up and drop a few rounds down range. We want everyone to go from here to here and see incremental increases every time we show up.
And one of these days, like when in July, I might show up, and I ain't gonna let nobody know who I am.
Oh, okay,
Al gonna know who I am, but I'm just gonna act like a regular student,
right.
and and let's see what happens. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that'll be fun.
I
You know what
think
I'm
so
saying?
too. I
Yeah,
think when you come out, only maybe two guys that may not know you. The other two,
they
they'll
will know
recognize
me.
you. Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
recognize
they're gonna blow it for everybody.
you. No, 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 no. They'll have expectations of you, so they'll put pressure on you.
Yeah,
All
yeah. I
right.
bring that 45 out. Ain't gonna be no expectation. It's gonna be singing 1911. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
But yeah, I got to zero my RMR on my Glock 34. I'm thinking about going over to Adventure Outdoors tomorrow and taking care of that, and along with the 5.7.
Okay.
You know, so I can get those locked in and see what they do. That's probably going to be the future way I shoot. If I get back in the competition, I'll probably be shooting with the RMR. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So um, it's a big class in that. It's a lot of big dudes in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And go.
That's the way of the future.
It's the way of the future. Yeah, going up against those guys.
Hmm.
You know. So, but we also seeing ammunition prices are dropping on for online sales. FedEx robbed me, guys. FedEx stole some 22,
Damn.
22 ammunition I had. I had a fight with the original shipper. It was they shipped it out from a third party, and third party when I had called the original shipper 4 times. Finally, I got pissed at the last time, and I told him, "Hey, you guys are not sending me no email, no nothing. FedEx has already sent me in the last 24 hours, told me that they lost it and it's gone."
Damn.
So there was so the shipper was like, it's gonna take us 15 days before we can even acknowledge. And I was like, BS. You need to send me an email. And they finally sent me an email. Then I took that thing from the FedEx and emailed it to them. Within 24 hours, they emailed me back saying, "Hey, we're gonna refund all your money." You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So yeah.
FedEx
So
at the crooks, bro.
FedEx
And
are
it's not the
crooks,
company; it's the people that work for them.
right? It's FedEx got a bunch of thugs who's looking out for ammunition and guns that's coming through, and they stealing that stuff.
Cigars too.
Oh, cigars too.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
Anything consumable, bro. Because think about it. How can you and I both know you can go and find a lot number for any ammunition that you buy as long as you have the box. Like, so one box out of this case of ammunition, you can literally go back and find what lot all these rounds came out of.
Hmm.
But if you start shooting it and you take it out of the box, one bullet's just as good as the next. By the time you do the forensics for that, it's not worth it for just a petty theft. Same thing
Hmm.
with cigars. You can, if all they're in a bundle, there's a tag on them. That tag will tell you what lot they came from. You open that bundle, break them apart, it's over.
Hmm.
There's no way to say that's my cigar or that's your cigar. That's just a cigar.
Right.
And
Yeah.
these guys know that stuff. They know that
Hmm.
it's like consumable items. There's nothing that you can do. It's like if I stole two apples out of Publix and then go back to turn myself in, they can't tell if those apples came from Publix or Kroger.
Yeah. And the person who's probably stealing is the drivers,
Oh
because this
yeah.
driver said he never received it on the truck, and I was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here, dude. You saw
Oh,
that
shit.
box. They probably wrapped that box up where it looked like it was ammunition.
Bro,
Didn't?
you
Hmm?
know the box has to have that symbol on it.
Oh, you got to have the ammunition symbol on it. Yeah,
Right.
that's
In
right.
order for it to be
Yeah,
transported from one state to another, you have to have that symbol.
yeah. It's
And
because
that right there is like, come
it's a red
steal
flag,
me, steal me.
right? Yeah, I've never lost any ammunition from UPS. I've never at all, but I've had stuff stolen from FedEx
Oh, yeah, we
many
lost stuff
times.
from FedEx, and there's one FedEx. I want to say Ellenwood is the location. It's like the worst. They literally have a what's that thing called? A blog, a full blog post. I'm sorry, whole
Facebook
forum,
page.
a whole
Yeah.
forum on this one location, Ellenwood FedEx, gets stolen daily,
See, they know about it and they won't fix it.
and they won't fix it.
They won't fix it.
People who I know people have complained to them, have sent letters and starched letters, not just I lost something, but detailed letters, detailed information, and complaints, and nothing has happened. So whenever I have a choice between UPS and FedEx, I take UPS, even if the
UPS.
FedEx cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen
Go.
sometimes FedEx is cheaper by like $5, $10. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Uh-uh. I do not do FedEx
Mm-mm.
at all. Screw FedEx.
Yep. What has
FedEx.
Brown done for you lately?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they haven't stolen my stuff. That's what they haven't done. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Then done. Don't even try to do anything about it. Just like, oh well, you SOL. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
You need to contact the original shipper. You know, so I'm like,
Hmm.
come on, please, really? You know, it's like, damn.
Right.
Now
And
you gonna?
how is the original shipper involved in this?
They're not.
He turned it over to you,
Yeah, they
and
turned
you
it over to
stole
the
it.
third party.
Yep.
Well, the original shipper had, instead of them shipping it, they shipped it from a third party. They sent the order to a third party, or third party sent it through FedEx.
Mm,
Uh, the original shipper never ships FedEx. They always ship UPS.
right.
So it's like the third party ship FedEx. It's like, what are you doing? You know,
Hmm.
because that's
Right.
the first thing I mentioned when I called them. I said, "You guys ship FedEx?" They said, "We never ship FedEx," and they said it's a third party. You know, it's like, damn, they knew it was going to get stolen. It's like,
Hmm.
what are you doing?
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, and then there must be like a whole syndicate in there because they get
yeah.
items and they move them quick to make a quick buck because there's no overhead for them.
Mm-mm. So now I got to wait 5 to 7 days for the money to come back to me. Then, if I was going to try to get those 5 boxes, 300 and something rounds each, you know, at that price, good luck, you know, because that sales price is over. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, and it was good ammunition too. It was match grade 22 ammunition. So, you know, it wasn't cheap, you know, crap stuff, you
Right.
know?
Hmm.
Yeah. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And you know, you can't buy locally. You can't. It's hard. Well, I'm gonna start hitting up some WalMarts for 22 because I'm hearing Walmart's still selling 22 ammunition. So I'm gonna see if they got
They
some good
sell
price.
rifle ammunition as well. They just
Oh,
don't sell anything semi-automatic.
right. So you can get you some 30-06, some 308s.
243, 247, 308. Yeah, that
Yeah,
stuff. But you're not
yeah,
getting, as long as you get FUD caliber, you fine.
right. Yeah.
They can't turn the old people away.
Turn old people away. Go down there and clean up on 22s. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But you guys watching the show, please share, support the show. If you got any questions, ask us questions on or YouTube or Rumble. We will respond back within 24 to 48 hours. And we do thank you guys for supporting and watching the show. And I guess that's about it, ain't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
man. Absolutely. I think we
yeah.
covered it all.
Yeah.
Until next time, boys. See you on the range.
See you on the range, guys. All right. Okay. Motherfucking Primer Arms is selling Anderson lowers for $29 each. Limit max is 5. But the only problem is when you go to order them, you got to put all the FFL information in yourself.
Damn.
So how the fuck am I,
You finished the book?
you know?
Mm. What's the address for Purple Dragon? Where? Yeah, we're going to Trinidad next week for
Yeah, yeah.
his karate school is going down there. That's where the founder is.
Oh yeah.
So they're going to meet up with them.
God damn. Go down and get their ass kicked in another country.
Pretty much. Them boys don't play down there, man.
Oh shit. They take that shit serious. They ain't got
Yep.
nothing else.
They ain't got nothing else, man. They don't have Xboxes and shit down there. They motherfuckers, all they got is karate every day. They live down there like you see in the karate movies where, you're a red belt, that means something. You're a white
Right.
belt, that means something. Over here,
Right.
that shit just something to do.
Mm-hmm. That shit's still uploading. What the fuck? It's still uploading on your end?
Yeah, I
God
had
damn.
94%.
Yeah, I'm 97%.
Dude, the recording is still going on.